Welcome back to this week's video on the channel. We've got a bit of a busy week. We've had the holiday Monday and it is back to normal work for us. What is normal work? Well, normal work is trying to sort the house, trying to ensure that the building work at the gable end of our house continues at a pace. I'll be making some phone calls later. And also, John is busy this morning mentoring a young chap. His family are currently in rented accommodation in the village and they're trying to move here permanently. And of course, they've got an issue with housing and jobs, which is a nationwide issue, but it's particularly relevant in Arran and particularly here in Lochranza because a third of the houses here in Lochranza are holiday homes. And there has been a recent, in fact, very recent, article in the Herald newspaper, which is one of the two main leading Scottish newspapers. And we're going to talk about that in this video and what that means to families like that. So have a look at the video. It's a bit political. I don't care. So let's look at the points that the article in the Herald has highlighted, which I have to say are not exclusive to Lochranza. These things are probably going to be an issue in an awful lot of touristy areas all over the UK. I have experience of this because we used to live in a touristy area down in Cornwall. And again, infrastructure was a problem. So lack of public transport, lack of jobs. The only jobs that are there are tourism jobs, which tend to be seasonal. However, let's have a look at Lochranza's problems. So, housing in Lochranza is limited. The price of housing in Lochranza, you are not really going to find anything less than £200,000 in Lochranza. The holiday homes that are owned here at the moment tend to have been inherited via family or that people who have retired have bought and they want a boat hole to come and relax at certain times of the year. Great. I'm not knocking that. The problem is a bigger one. There is a lack of infrastructure here. If you don't have a car, you're going to struggle. There is a limited bus service here, and there are very limited job opportunities. So at the moment, anyone buying a holiday home in Scotland, anywhere in Scotland, has to pay an additional dwelling supplement, which at the moment is set at 8% of the property value. And Ross Greer, who is the Scottish Green Party's MSP, is tabling an amendment to the housing bill to see if he can raise this to 16%. And his argument is that raising that will put people off from buying second homes and therefore free up housing stock in these areas that are tourist hotspots. Sounds great, not really going to work in practice. If you're going to increase the levy, you are only going to increase the price of housing. You've still got the underlying problem of the infrastructure and lack of jobs in the area. So personally, I don't see this as a goer, whether he gets it through and gets his amendment or not. So I'm down at the castle in Lochranza on the foreshore, and I am filling an old carrier bag with kindling. So there's no shortage, as you can see, and the tide brings this up and dumps it right along there, and I just wait for a dry day. I walk down here and within literally 7 minutes I picked a bag, and that will do me some kindling for about 4 or 5 days. So I get a really pleasant walk out of it. Not the only person. Beautiful blue sky day here. Everyone having a lovely walk. Very calm. Couple of boats in, because it's almost boaty season. So I'm just going to go and have a sit on that bench. It's lovely just to sit for 5 minutes and appreciate why I'm actually here. Look at that. Ferries away at Cloneg. Oh, the wee boat sailing there. Off for a jolly somewhere nice, no doubt. Just absolutely beautiful this morning. So that's not a bad wee haul for 15 minutes on the beach collecting firewood, and it will just top up the wood store a little bit for days like today where it is not warm and the sky is very grey, so we might get some rain later. It's not bad. Not bad at all. And John hates these bits, but actually they're quite good for kindling. They're all dry, everything's dry, and these bits are great for tinder, just to start the fire. So that'll keep us going a couple of weeks, and next dry day I'll go down to the beach and pick up some more. It is a bit scavengy, but you know, it's wood for free. It's been lying out in the foreshore, the salt's all been washed off it. It's all seasoned wood, and some of it's hardwood, so you know, can't complain. And the price of timber now for burning is getting up there, so if I can eke it out, then it's saving me money to spend on other things like a garden shed. But we'll talk about a garden shed in another video, I think, because that is a saga in itself.
Yeah, welcome back. If anyone's been following us, you'll know that I've got a project. We bought a Mitsubishi that need a bit of work on it. The reason for buying this is because the roads here are just not great, and it means we can go anywhere, up the mountains, down the tracks. The other reason for buying it is it's got a good tow bar on it. It pulls 3.5 tonne. So initially we're going to get a boat at some point. So we're going to be looking to get a boat and launch it and recover it. So this is the perfect vehicle for doing that. Plus it's just a big beast. Good for the winter as well if we do get kind of bad weather. And initially it had been put off the road because it had a fuel leak. Now the woman that had it didn't know if it was a tank, a hose, a clip, whatever was leaking. It was just leaking fuel, and she'd advertised it and told people about it. So I was aware that it had a fuel problem. It turned out it was the tank. The tank had a hole in the bottom of it, rusted out. There's no point in trying to weld it. I'm a welder by trade, and there's no point even looking to try and do that. Take it off, put a new tank on it. Milliner 4x4, who I've dealt with before, were great. They supplied a new tank, everything came with it, the sender units, everything came to put all the bits back in it, new gaskets, pipes, everything to go. Job done. Stripped the old one out, dumped the appropriate skip, the metal skip, made sure it was empty, gave it a wash out, disposed of it. So this beast has had a new fuel tank on it. It's up and running now and it's great. It's had rear brake discs renewed. The front ones were just needing cleaned, just because it had been lying. She had left it lying for about 3 months off the road. So it hadn't turned a wheel for 3 months since she discovered it was just leaking fuel. So that's the worst thing you can probably do to it, is leave it lying. So we've did, because we put a new tank on it, we've done the diesel filter as well. I'm not going to not replace the diesel filter if you've went to all the expense of putting a new fuel tank on it. So it's got new fuel tank, new fuel lines and new diesel filter. So it's just a matter of bleeding it and off you go. It's had the oil change as well, oil filter, air filter. This is not my first Mitsubishi, I've had 4 of them. This is number 5. But if you do get stuck and you do want one, they're great vehicles. Get yourself a manual. It's not just the exact manual for this model, but it covers Mitsubishis and Pajeros. It's a great thing to look back into. If you don't know too much about them, best you get a manual. I'm fortunate, this is number 5, and I know quite a bit about them now. But they're great when they're up and running, but if they develop a problem, it's like everything else. If you don't know anything about it, you're going to pay from a specialist to have a look at it.
Right, so now that you've got this up and running, can we actually go for a drive in it?
We'll be out driving this over the weekend now, give it a run around, just check everything's okay on it. And then I'm boat hunting.
Woohoo!
So we can go boat hunting anytime now.
So it's kind of that time of year that I normally make my elderflower cordial, and if I'm kind of doing that, I tend to make a demi-john of elderflower wine or elderflower champagne. But I am sharing with you today the recipe for elderflower cordial. So this is non-alcoholic and really refreshing, lovely for a summer drink. You can pour it into ice cube molds and make little elderflower ice cubes, which is perfect in a gin and tonic, ladies. But really easy to do. Elderflower are normally flowering at the end of April through to the end of May. So you want to be picking them on a nice, dry, still day, which is lovely in itself to go out and do that. But anyway, here's the recipe for you. So here's mine. Excellent. No chemicals in it. If you want to store this, you can keep it in a bottle in the fridge for a few days, or put it inside a clean, washed out, sterile plastic bottle like an old milk container or an old water bottle or lemonade bottle, whatever, and then you can pop it in the freezer. I like to put this into small containers in the freezer so that I've got some all year round. Excellent for winter as well, but delicious. Oh God, see how clear that is? Absolutely fantastic. So that is my tip for early summer. Go and make that. It is lovely. And you'll find more recipes for non-alcoholic and alcoholic drinks in my book, Grow Your Own Booze. Support a small writer. Well, support not a small writer, but support a writer. Buy a book.